Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Best in Slot. Welcome back to Prehistoric Kingdom and the brand new 1.1 update, the biggest update we've had since the game hit early access earlier this year, bringing not only a new map but 3 new species of dinosaur. We've got new guest needs, we've got new behavioural animations for the dinosaurs, we've got 100 plus new scenery items and more. So we're going to hop into our showcase park and I'm going to show you all that new stuff. We will be starting our own park build series on Prehistoric Kingdom again, I promise. I think it's going to be a stream series that will be either between Christmas and New Year or very early January, but it's on the way. And we'll build on this new map. So here we are, this is Jordan. Really cool thing about this map, I actually wish we had more of these. If you come over here, you've got these gigantic rocky outcrops in the middle of the map here and here. People who've played a lot of Evolution 2 might see this and panic a little bit, but it is worth noting, whilst they are there, if you want to keep them, you can, if you want, also just flatten them down. And that really is the best of both worlds. I quite like having stuff like that. If anything, I wish we had more of it because it can be flattened, but you know, it's cool to have that option. Eventually it'd be nice to have like a flat map option and like a built map option, and they could push the boat out a little bit more on the built ones, but that is something for another day. So, our new Jordan map, and let's take a look at the dinosaurs, starting with our Coelophysis, our Triassic basal theropod, and I'm going to let Nigel Marvin do the introductions.
Coelophysis is without a doubt the most iconic dinosaur of the Triassic period. It's almost certain that it's also the trickiest dinosaur name to say. If you ever have some time on your hands, I recommend listening to the visitors try to sound out its name. Coelophysis never fails to make me smile.
So, interestingly enough, I've tried to record this video a second ago and he gave a completely different dinosaur introduction, so he does seem to have multiple introductions, which I don't know if I ever realised before. But it is looking absolutely beautiful, especially if you can ramp up your quality a little bit. It looks fantastic. The texture quality again, the patterning, whoever is responsible for this is a god as far as I'm concerned, because it is just staggeringly, it's just brown essentially, but by using all these different patterns and tones and shades you create something so varied and interesting to look at. A little burst of yellow there on the cheek, and it's the eyes with the Coelophysis that I love the most. You can see the humongous pupil there, you know, letting it hunt small prey, letting it hunt nocturnally, and there's something about the eyes that have this quality, oh hello, that you don't really see in many games, and that the eyes feel full and like liquid inside, if that makes sense, like an eyeball actually is. It's superb, it really is. And we also have, of course, a feathered variant. There you are, there's Honeyahaka, our fully feathered Coelophysis, bright red and orange and burnt plumage there, breaks just around the snout area and a little bit down here below the pubis, and heading down the tail, and the tail is pointy, I promise. But yeah, just like the smattering feathering covering, looks really good. We've got these wings on the back of the arms as well, a little crest popping up there at the front. Now these are all the same species, so they are approximately all the same size, but we do have massive variation. Just look at Honey over here with that bright red colouring, male feathered, and if we look at Grumpy, our other male feathered, you can see that the colouring is completely different, even though they were birthed in the same egg pool, I guess you'd call it. They were birthed at the same time. So that's just showing the colour variation come to life. I've got to say, Grumpy is absolutely beautiful. Grumpy's got that fantastic colouring. A little bit more subtle, but I think it really works. So one of the other major changes coming with patch 1.1 is new dinosaur behavioural animations, and that is simply that the dinosaurs now have sort of ambient behaviours as they move through the world, where they'll do certain little moves, certain little animations, certain little idle animations, I guess you'd call them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow Keme around until Keme does the idle animation for me. There you go. And you just saw it again. They chase their own tail, like a dog. It's cute. Right, okay. So like I said, most of the dinosaurs seem to have these animations. I've also got the Dryosaurus and a Brachiosaurus over there, because we're going to showcase those new idle animations a little bit further into the video. But until then, let's check out our other new dinosaurs. So over here, we have our Scelidosaurus. This is our armoured ornithischian from Jurassic Britain. A very basal, I'm going to butcher this, Thyreophoran, basically. And Thyreophoran is a clade which it contains most of your armoured ornithischians, your Ankylosauria, your Stegosauria, stuff like that. So Scelidosaurus is a very basal version of one of those. One of the earliest complete dinosaurs in history, basically. Let's take a look and hear what Nigel has to say. This is Neris.
It's always a pleasure to run into a fellow Brit so far away from home. Meet Scelidosaurus, an early armoured dinosaur from England and Ireland. Remarkably, paleontologists have found specimens of every bone in the skeleton of Scelidosaurus. An impressive feat, considering that many dinosaurs are only known from partial or even fragmentary skeletons.
Every single bone. That is kind of wild, it must be said. He's not pronouncing the C. Do you not pronounce the C in Scelidosaurus? Is it Celidosaurus or Celidosaurus? Am I doing it wrong? I could be doing it wrong. That might have been the ad over there. But there we go. That is I'm going to keep calling it Scelidosaurus until I'm told otherwise. Or Scelidosaurus. So yeah, you can see how this would eventually develop into your Stegosauria, your Ankylosauria, etc. What I really like about this as well is I find that a lot of armoured dinosaurs... Well, there's your idle animation. That's adorable. A lot of your armoured dinosaurs in games are often rendered quite, I say, dull in terms of coloration. You know, they don't tend to push the boat out. And you'd say the patterns on Skeledo are pretty tame. We've got these... Oh, it's got to say, this update, the animations and those little behaviours added to the dinosaurs, they just feel so much more alive than they did in the past, you know? It's worth noting there are trackways suggesting Scelidosaurus could have moved both bipedally and quadrupedally. Probably would have moved quadrupedally predominantly, but could move bipedally as well. So it's really cool that that's been integrated into the animations for the dinosaur. It's a really interesting, unique creature. Really like the patterning and colour variation on that one in particular. We've got a slightly darker one over here with Coal, who looks like a hunk of coal. I love that smattering of sort of pale dots along the body, and then a stripe. Those beautiful big blue eyes. Must be an absolute lady killer, Coal, I'm telling you. Absolute beauty, this one. One of my favourite dinosaurs in the game as of about 5 seconds ago. That black and white contrast there, and that swathe of blue by the eyes. The whole dinosaur looks fantastic. The osteoderms are rendered so well. The spikes, everything just... feels very natural, despite being such an overtly spiked and sort of aggressively spiked creature. It still feels very real, which is pretty cool. Right, one more dinosaur to go. Let's hop over here and check out possibly the most exciting of the bunch, it must be said, the Dilophosaurus.
Dilophosaurus is such a gorgeous creature. Those graceful notched jaws can pack a powerful bite. But watch out for those arms. Their length and mobility make it all too easy for Dilophosaurus to bring prey straight to its mouth. So if the teeth don't catch up, its arms just might.
I was doubting my pronunciation on Scelidosaurus, but I'm not debating Dilophosaurus. I'm not touching that, Nigel. I'm sorry. Dilophosaurus, just officially my favourite dinosaur in the game. What an absolute beauty she is. Absolutely stunning. It's just... It's one of my favourite dinosaurs in paleo media overall. I think this is incredible work, I really do. We've got a bunch of different skins. This might be the best of the bunch. Arthur down here, as you can see, is fully feathered. Well, not fully feathered. Has a smattering of feathering starting from the top of the skull there, and then stretching down the body down here. So it's just on the top instead of a fully feathered variant. Again, the coloration there on the crest in particular, absolutely beautiful. And you can see already these visual differences between the two. If you look at Arthur here, they've got the feathering down the back. We don't have these spikes here or spikes here. And look at the shape of the crest, right? This kind of, it's fairly soft, very round and curved. Oh, God, it's pretty. And if we go back over here to Eleanor and we zoom in, you can see the crest shape itself is different. These little details. It's a lot less smooth. It's kind of jagged like that. And we've got these spikes poking out from the back beyond the double-sided crest. And even these little eyebrows at the back. And we've also got, let's check our third skin for any differences. Thomas over here, just Thomas, if that way inclined. Which again, different shaped crest. We don't have the spikes, we don't have the feathers, but we've got this curve and then a little hook on the back of the crest. So we've got all this variation in shape and styling, all contained within a single species, which is awesome. You know? Oh God, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. I mean, that is stunning. It looks like a moth or something. It feels very reminiscent of what you'd see on a moth wing. It is an absolute stunner. Best dinosaur in the game. Patterns, textures, model, animations, hopefully, we'll see. Hopefully I'm going to try to spot that ambient behaviour for you. A little scratch. And the sound design as well. It's a easy thing to forget sometimes. I know the movement's a bit janky. Whoa. Easy thing to forget sometimes, the sound design, but really, really good. Really brings the dinosaur to life. That kind of gurgly noise you can... warbling as it shakes its neck. I realised today I've been playing the game on like low graphic settings for a while, and it's only today I've realised just how the dinosaurs are rendered magnificently. They really are. Yeah, again, those noise. It sounds a little Jurassic Parky, but that's definitely okay. It suits that almost the bird-like stylings that you'd have on a Dilophosaurus, you know, with the bright colours and the bright crest. That was a little different though, a little throaty, a little growly in there. Yeah, just phenomenal. Or a little, just, I don't know, stretching potentially. The point is they've got various animations that we've seen playing out. Right, I will spend all day looking at the dinosaurs if I can. So we need to move on with our lives and let's check out some of the new stuff. So, you can see here we're in a Jordan Desert. We've got this new sort of desert biome with all the Joshua trees and the cacti and our palm trees and such. And we've got some planters here as well. Texture-wise, we've got, you know, this is your default sand. You've got some grass, which is, you know, very arid and dry, as you would expect. You've got some very, very dark red sand, very sort of Australian red sand almost in how it looks. And then you've also got the rock, which looks something like this. And again, we've got that lovely way the texture works, where the texture will settle into the sort of the lower realms of the texture. That you can see the grass there is settling in the gaps of the lower rock, which again is really impressive. And I think the best way you can do texture. And there's another behaviour. So Coelophysis hunts for insects on the ground. Really cool. So there are plenty of other changes. For example, guest needs are now a thing. My guests don't seem to be interested in coming inside the park, but you can go into a management view now. You can see where they need nutrition and bathroom and shopping, entertainment, education and accommodation. You can, of course, just turn on sandbox mode and turn off money and not really worry about this kind of stuff if you don't want to. But the point is you now have to worry about feeding your guests and giving them bathrooms and stuff like that if you want a good park. So the park management aspect of the game has got a lot better via this update. And of course we also have a ton of new building things. First of all, we've got 5 new wall styles. We've got this kind of, I don't know what you'd call it. It's kind of like a, I'm going to call everything sandstone. It's not. It's kind of, I'm going to call it sandstone. We've got this sandstone kind of look over here. This kind of mud wall-ish, I guess. We've got these square bricks. Got this more pebbly sort of rock. We've got these larger bricks, which are really cool if you want to build something pyramid-esque, I would say. And then we've got this kind of rusted wooden... Is it meant to be? I don't know if it's meant to be... I think it's probably meant to be painted wood that started to peel, I'd guess. But either way, 5 lovely new textures. Bunch of new decorations on top of that as well. Loads of windows and doors. As you can see, some of them very colourful and overt. I know the designers have pulled from various different places around the world. It's not meant to be just Jordan. It's meant to be all these arid locations, so you get a really good mix. You can see here, like some of these feel more Asian, some of them feel more African in particular. So lovely window and door selection. Got a few new lights as well. These hanging lanterns and this cone kind of one over here, which feels very Jordanian. And over here, I'm not sure if these are new. Particularly, what I'd love, by the way, and I wish all games did this, because it's not like an official list, if you could search new, and it gave you a list of everything that was in the newest update, that would make my life so much easier. But this is really good stuff. So this is like destroyed concrete, destroyed wood, and in particular, destroyed barbed wire. So if you wanted to build like a quasi-dinosaur breakout, you could use these and make something really effective looking. Like that is straight out of like Jurassic Park the ride, you know? And I really want to use it for something akin to that. I think that would be a lot of fun. Imagine your Rex head poking through that. You could even use the Rex statue and do something like that. Tons of other building items as well. They've got these pillar bases and pillar tops. So these archways over here. We've got some, these are all pillar items over here. We've got some tiling, which feels definitely sort of Northeast African to me. We've got some domes for your temple buildings and some wall trims as well, like so. Just lots of really cool building options if you want to start building your arid-themed buildings. I've said building too many times. We're going to move on with our lives. Excitingly enough, though, that's not all you get. And it's worth remembering, by the way, this is all free. This is all... If you own Prehistoric Kingdom on Steam, and if you don't, you should go buy it. It's on sale right now as part of Christmas. You can go buy the game right now. You will get all of this absolutely for free. And it's also, it's Christmas, right? In just 3 days time or something. And they've added a bunch of Christmas items to celebrate. So we've got an incredible looking sleigh. We've got baubles, bells, ribbons, gingerbread trees and gingerbread dinosaurs. We've got presents, we've got candy canes, we've got snowflakes, we've got tinsel and wreaths. And we've got a big old star. And again, just free stuff. If you want to build a Christmassy little part of your park, if you want to celebrate the season, you can now do that. And I love this kind of stuff. I mean, the Halloween one, more my speed, but that is still... It's just there. It's free. You all get it. You can build Christmas stuff or you can ignore it forever. You know, it's cool. We also have new walls, I should mention, so you can see some of them here. But tell you what, let's just go ahead and grab our fences, and I'll showcase these bit by bit. So this is your arid clay. Clay is the word I was looking for, not sandstone. There we go, clay. So there is your arid clay, really nicely designed. We've got our medium-sized one, which again just looks fantastic. Really overtly designed, these ones, compared to a lot of the others. And that one there, which looks like it could be a building in and of itself. You could even use that for designing buildings. We've got this arid clay fence, which is a little simpler, generally speaking. Has some really lovely shapes on the medium one, though, for those windows. Really cool. This feels more sort of maybe Egyptian to me in styling. And we've got that one there. And we have yet another. So we've got our arid pillar here. These are thicker, tougher, rugged fences for your spooky dinosaurs. And this one with that little barring at the top to strengthen it even more. And it's little nodules at the side. Look at that level of detail. Isn't that lovely? Absolutely lovely. There's also a new arid wooden fence, which I actually haven't used, but love that, the difference in the shaping. Again, these fences feel like they've kind of pushed the boat out a little bit. They've really sort of varied and they've really mixed things up. Yeah, really cool. So a whole bunch of new fences right there. Bunch of new scenery items. 3 fantastic new dinosaurs. Really good. Dilophosaurus, my definite favourite. There's actually a couple of new things as well. Now, not only do you have to worry about your guest needs in general, but you can now build those custom attraction things we've talked about in the past. If you come down here to guest facilities and click on the second one for attractions, you've got some pre-built modules, as you can see, like the viewing tower, but you can now individually place as well your viewing binoculars, for example. And the guests will come up to these and use them to view your dinosaurs. Likewise with the animal information screen. They'll come up to them and you'll get science points, etc. I don't know if that's in the game quite yet, but in the future you'll get science points when your guests use these items. So the point is, you can put these up here and you can build custom made viewing tower things, basically, that your guests will then climb up the stairs, walk up to the binoculars and use them to view your dinosaurs. And you can then, you know, save that as a custom item if you want and reuse it later on in your park, etc, etc. Before we go, I do want to check out the Dryosaurus. I've seen a preview of the Dryosaurus sort of ambient animation, that social, well, ambient idle animation, whatever you want to call it. Man, Brachiosaurus. And it's just so adorable. Also, this is super cute as it's just pecking along the ground, looking for seeds or insects or little berries or whatever it's, little tufts of grass, etc. And how it's stepping forward each time. It's like it's not locked into one place. It's moving forward as the dinosaur would, because you can't just poke at one area, right? You have to keep moving to find more goodies. Still looks absolutely beautiful, but yeah, the animation which you just got a preview of over there, but I'm gonna wait until it's one I'm zoomed in on. Although she is very hungry. That makes me intensely happy. I know this isn't relevant to the video, I just want to say that. Just looking up at this Brachiosaurus as it like splits the sun in that way just feels magnificent. It's stunning. The lighting in this game really does a lot of the work. Okay, they're basically refusing to do it for me, so I'm gonna play the animations for you taken from the devlog announcing the update. You have seen the Dryosaurus one already, even if it wasn't the focus at the time, but the Dryosaurus basically flips over on its own head, plays around, and then leaps into the air and flaps its legs about. It's very, very cute, so I'm gonna show you that one now. And then the one for the sauropods is a simple sort of rearing animation, but if you catch it at the right time, I'm sure it's going to be absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, it's Christmas weekend, so I'm a little bit all over the place and a little bit harried at the moment. But yeah, just fantastic to see all the dinosaurs and all the creatures get that kind of love. Really excited that when we start our own park build in the coming days, coming week or two, we'll be able to check out some of those other ones as well for some of the other creatures in the game. But yeah, that's it from me. So this is all part of Update 1.1. It's absolute madness. Tons of free stuff. If you haven't bit the bullet with Prehistoric Kingdom, this is the perfect time to do so. Would really, really recommend it. And shout out to the devs for giving us such an amazing update just before Christmas. So, you know, when we're all tired of our families, we can go and throw ourselves into something else. Right, thank you so much for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you all have a lovely holiday. Whatever you're doing, even if you don't celebrate, just have a good weekend, you know. Have a good time. And I'll see you lovely folks very soon. Throw me a like down below if you enjoyed the video. Go check out Prehistoric Kingdom on Steam. Thanks for joining me. Cheers much as always. Bye-bye.